Kat, and today I will be doing my October wrap-up and also my November TBR. So if you remember last month, I read a crapload and got through 13 books, and this month I did not read that many. I only read 11 books. What? Still 11 books! Hot damn, I was a reading machine. It's actually been a huge relief to get through so many books in September and October because I knew I wasn't going to be reading much in November. But I will talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video when I discuss my November TBR. But for now, I just want to talk to you guys about the 11 books that I finished in October. And I will actually be participating in 2 live shows this weekend for 2 of the books I read in October, so I'm going to start with those. So first up, I have The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. This is the 5th and final book in the Heroes of Olympus series, and I do not want to spoil you at all, so I'm really not gonna say much about this here now. I know I said I was going to do a discussion video for this book, but I didn't know how to put my thoughts into words, and then time passed, and now it's NaNoWriMo, and I don't think that I'm going to make a discussion video about this book, but I will be doing a live show this weekend. I'll put all the info in the doobly-doo. It'll be on Tiernan's channel, The Booktuber, on Sunday. Doobly-doo. Info. Check it there. I still don't really know how I feel about this book. Like, part of me loves it, and part of me is upset because I had some expectations that were not met, and I kind of wanted to do a bookish discussion video about how expectations affect our reading experience, because like if I didn't have those expectations I would have loved this book, but I had some expectations, and as of such I have conflicted feelings about this book, but I will discuss that in great detail in the live show. Next up, I have Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick, and this was the Booksplosion Book of the Month pick for October. This month we are working with Simon & Schuster, and the live show discussion finale to the read-along is happening on Saturday, the 8th. Personally, I'm kind of in the middle on this one. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I really enjoyed the mystery and the tension and the atmosphere, but I did not enjoy the characters. I didn't find them to be very likable. But yeah, I'll talk more specifics in the live show. Again, details in the description. Then I read The Young Elites by Marie Lu, and this is the first book in a new series. It takes place in this fantasy world where 10 years ago there was this deadly fever that killed a bunch of people and scarred some of the survivors. And some of these scarred survivors also happen to develop supernatural abilities. There's a group of these scarred survivors with supernatural abilities known as the Young Elites, and we follow this girl who also has an ability who kind of gets tangled up with this group of the Young Elites. I did enjoy this book, but it wasn't until the end that I found myself like really appreciating how it all came together and how the series was setting up for the next book, which I really want. Like, I'm really looking forward to that now. If you liked the Legend trilogy by Marie Lu, then I would recommend giving this one a go. It's not as like action-packed and fun as the Legend trilogy. It's kind of a darker story and there's more internal struggle going on, but it's still a good read, and I have some pretty high expectations for the next book. Like, I feel like the series is going in a fantastic direction, and I can't wait for that. Next up, I have here The Jewel by Amy Ewing. This is the first book in a new dystopian series, probably a trilogy, let's be real. And it takes place in this world where the royal families cannot carry their own children, so they pull these girls from like the lower class area to be surrogates for them. And these girls have kind of a supernatural ability that allows allows them to carry the babies to term. We follow a girl named Violet who has been trained to be a surrogate, and at the beginning of the book she is auctioned off to one of the royal families, and then we kind of go from there. For me, this book was just okay. Like, it was engaging and interesting and I flew through it, but I personally had a lot of trouble suspending my disbelief and really buying into this world and what was happening. And not just the world, I also had trouble buying into the romance. Like, I did not get the relationship and I felt like it progressed way too fast. If you really liked The Selection or Wither by Lauren DeStefano, then you might want to give this one a try because it is kind of along those lines, but both of those books for me were also just alright, and I actually prefer both of those to this one, so yeah. Personally, I'm not really a huge fan of the whole surrogacy plotline in young adult novels, which is why I didn't care for Wither that much, but I don't know. This was definitely an interesting and engaging read. It just wasn't really my cup of tea. Next up, I read The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, then The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and finally Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. The first 3 books in the Raven Cycle Quartet. Are these covers not so beautiful? I can't wait for the last one. They better keep the same cover design or I will be pissed, and why would they do that? It's beautiful, and with the last one together it's going to be amazing. This series is awesome, okay? The characters are fantastic, the world is so unique and fascinating, and I love Maggie Stiefvater's writing. I've already talked about the plot of this book in a video, so I'm gonna link that below, and I'm not gonna talk about the plots of these books because they are sequels and spoilers. Of these 3 books, I think my favorite is The Raven Boys, the first one, followed by Blue Lily Lily Blue, and then The Dream Thieves, but I did really like all of them. And I'm pretty sure the last book is going to be amazing. Like, I cannot wait for that final book because there's so much build-up and like, it's going to be really good, and I'm also nervous but excited. I want it. Then I read the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. The darkest minds never fade in the afterlight. It makes a sentence! I love it. I'm not really going to talk about the synopsis of these books because I did a review for The Darkest Minds, so I'll link that below if you want to watch that. And the other books, I don't want to give away any spoilers. I love this trilogy, okay? It's funny and fun and awesome and kick-ass and has such a cool world and a satisfying conclusion. Bonus points for that. I did feel like the beginning of In the Afterlight was a little bit slow, like it kind of took a while to get up to that awesome conclusion, but once we got there it was beautiful. I think my order of favorites does go in order of series, like The Darkest Minds, then Never Fade, then In the Afterlight, but like I said, it is a fantastic series overall, and if you're looking for like a supernatural, post-apocalyptic, dystopian-ish kind of read, this. Especially if you like great character development and funny dialogue, this. And finally, I have my favorite read of the month. I read 11 books, and this one was my favorite. It is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I don't even know where to start with this book. Like, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to spoil anything. I just want you all to read this. Basically, it's about these 2 twins, Noah and Jude, who when they were 13 years old, they were really close, but 3 years later, they're 16, and some things have kind of happened to drive them apart. The story is told in a dual point of view with a dual timeline. We follow Noah when the twins are 13 and Jude when they are 16. And that is really all I want to say, except just read it. Read it. It was so amazing and funny and romantic and touching and all of the things a contemporary novel should be. This was it. It was lovely. This is one of my favorite books of the year. One of my favorite books of all time now. It was that good. So yeah, those are the books that I read in October, and now I want to briefly talk about November. If you saw my last video, then you know that this month I am doing NaNoWriMo, and I'm doing daily vlogs over on my vlog channel, so I am not going to be reading very much, or kind of at all this month. There is only one book I'm planning to read, and that is the Booksplosion book of the month for November, which is, drumroll please, I didn't prepare, where is it? Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, the third and final book in the Hunger Games trilogy. This month we will be rereading this beautiful book and also watching Mockingjay Part 1 the moment it comes out. Like, who is not excited for that movie? If you say you aren't, you're lying or you're missing out. You're missing out. The live show discussion for this book and also the Mockingjay Part 1 movie will take place on December 6th. Again, I'll put all of the info on all of the live shows in the description so you can, like, see it there with your eyes. So yeah, I won't be reading much, and also I will not be doing a November releases video because honestly there aren't a ton of releases coming out this month that I'm looking forward to. The only two books that I really care about are already out, and I already have them, and I can't talk about them in this video because they're the third books in trilogies and spoilers. So yes. Here they are. Aren't they pretty? I think they're pretty. I'm actually not caught up on either of these series, which is why I'm not going to be trying to read them this month, but maybe December, probably December, I don't know. I'm already afraid of Retribution spoilers, like, Tumblr is a scary, scary place, yo. Alrighty, that is it for this video today. Those are the 11 books I read in October and the one single book I'm planning to read in November. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another vlog up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! October wrap-up, November TBR. Go! I punched you! Oh. Mamma mia. Here we go again. Why did I read so many books? Seriously though. Oh god. How do I set these down? Shit, talkie mushrooms. Next up I have Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick, and this was the book Spapatap. But yeah, we'll discuss the details in detail. I kind of have mixed feelings about this book. Like, on one hand, I loved it, and on the other hand, I had some helicopters in my hand.